The board, chastened by the scandal, gave me their full, unwavering support. I initiated a complete restructuring of the legal and marketing departments, removing any lingering traces of Liam and Serafina's influence. I promoted Marcus to a senior IT security position, recognizing his quiet competence and loyalty. Lena, too, was offered a key role, becoming my chief of staff, a position where her sharp intellect and unwavering loyalty would be invaluable. In my past life, I was too focused on delegating, on trusting others to manage the details, I confessed to Lena. But now, I knew that true control meant understanding every facet of my empire, and surrounding myself with people who shared my vision and my values. The company, initially shaken by the scandal, quickly stabilized under my renewed leadership. My public image, once tarnished, was now that of a resilient, powerful woman who had overcome unimaginable adversity. The stock price, which had dipped during the initial accusations, soared to new heights. FIANCE Innovations emerged stronger, more resilient, and with a renewed sense of purpose through it all. Julian Vance remained a constant presence. Our professional alliance had blossomed into something far more profound. He was there for every press conference, every legal meeting, every late-night strategy session. He offered not just his expertise, but his quiet strength, his unwavering support. Our conversations grew longer, more intimate. We talked about our dreams, our fears, our pasts. I found myself opening up to him in ways I never had with Liam, or anyone else for that matter. He understood the loneliness of leadership, the burden of responsibility, and the sting of betrayal. He saw beyond the CEO, to the woman beneath, scarred but not broken. One evening, after a charity gala we had both attended, Julian drove me home. The city lights blurred outside the window, a soft glow against the dark sky. "You handled everything with such grace, Alara," he said. It was truly remarkable to witness. It wasn't grace, Julian, I admitted, a small, weary smile touching my lips. It was pure, unadulterated rage, channeled into a meticulous plan. He chuckled softly. Even so. You turned that rage into something powerful. Something that brought justice. We pulled up to my apartment building. Neither of us made a move to get out of the car. The silence was comfortable, filled with unspoken emotions. Julian, I began, my voice barely a whisper. Thank you. For everything. For believing me when no one else did. For helping me fight. He turned to me, his blue eyes intense in the dim light. I didn't do it for gratitude, Alara. I did it because it was the right thing to do. And because I believe in you. He reached for my hand, his fingers intertwining with mine. His touch was gentle, yet firm, sending a warmth through me that had nothing to do with the cool night air. And because I've grown to care for you, Alara Vance, he confessed, his voice a low rumble. More than I ever thought possible. My breath hitched. My heart, which I had thought was encased in ice, began to thaw. In my past life, I had been too afraid to truly love, too consumed by ambition, too easily swayed by superficial charm. But now, I knew what true connection felt like. It was not a whirlwind of passion, but a quiet, steady warmth, a deep sense of understanding and respect. I care for you too, Julian, I confessed, my voice trembling slightly. More than I ever thought I would again. He leaned in, slowly, giving me time to react. I didn't pull away. His lips met mine, a soft, tender kiss that spoke of promise and hope, a stark contrast to the bitter taste of betrayal that had lingered on my tongue for so long. It was a kiss that sealed not just an alliance, but a new beginning. Over the next few months, our relationship deepened. We navigated the complexities of our professional lives, now intertwined, with ease. Our companies, once rivals, now collaborated on joint ventures, leveraging each other's strengths. The industry watched, fascinated, as the two titans, FIANCE Innovations and Zenith Corp., forged an unprecedented partnership, driven by a shared vision and a powerful, unexpected bond between their leaders. Julian was everything Liam wasn't. He was honest, dependable, and genuinely supportive. He celebrated my successes and comforted me through the lingering shadows of my past. He understood that my drive for revenge had been a necessary catalyst, but that true healing lay in building a new future, one filled with genuine connection and purpose. My parents, after repeated attempts to contact me, finally sent a lengthy, tearful letter, begging for forgiveness. They claimed they had been manipulated by Serafina, blinded by her charm, convinced by Liam's fabricated evidence. In my past life, I was too desperate for their approval, for their love, I told Julian, holding the letter. I would have forgiven them, even if it meant sacrificing my own peace. But now, I knew that some wounds were too deep to simply heal with an apology. Their betrayal had been absolute. It's your decision, Alara, Julian said, his hand resting gently on my shoulder. Whatever you choose, I'll support you. I decided to respond, not with forgiveness, but with a clear boundary. I acknowledged their letter, stating that while I understood their regret, the trust had been irrevocably broken. I wished them well but made it clear that a reconciliation was not possible. It was a painful but necessary step in my journey of healing. I had learned that true strength lay not in forgiving those who had deeply wronged you, but in protecting your own peace. Liam and Serafina's trial was a public spectacle. The evidence was overwhelming, and they were both found guilty. Liam received a lengthy prison sentence, and Serafina, despite her pleas of coercion, also faced significant time behind bars. Justice, cold and unyielding, had been served. The day the verdict was announced, I felt a strange sense of emptiness, a quiet satisfaction, but not the triumphant elation I might have expected. The revenge was complete. The scales had been balanced. But the true victory wasn't in their downfall, but in my own rebirth. A few weeks later, Julian proposed. It was a quiet evening at my apartment, just the two of us. He didn't get down on one knee, but simply looked at me, his eyes filled with a love so profound it took my breath away. Alara, he said, his voice husky. You are the most incredible woman I have ever known. You faced unimaginable adversity and emerged stronger, more brilliant than ever. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Will you marry me? Tears, not of sorrow but of overwhelming joy, welled in my eyes. Yes, Julian, I whispered, my voice thick with emotion. 1,000 times, yes. Our wedding was a small, intimate affair, attended only by Lena and a few close friends and colleagues who had proven their loyalty. It was held in a beautiful botanical garden, surrounded by vibrant blooms and the soft hum of nature. I wore a simple, elegant white gown, and Julian, a classic dark suit. As I walked down the aisle, Lena by my side, I thought of my past life. The grand wedding I had planned with Liam, the elaborate guest list, the superficiality of it all. In my past life, I would have chased that external validation, that perfect facade. But now, I knew that true happiness lay in genuine connection, in quiet moments, in the unwavering love of those who truly mattered. Julian stood at the altar, his eyes shining as I approached. He reached out, taking my hand, his touch a comforting anchor. In my past life, I was too consumed by ambition, too blind to the true meaning of love, I thought, looking into Julian's eyes. I pursued power and success, believing they would bring me happiness. But now, I knew that the greatest empire I could ever build was one founded on love, trust, and genuine connection. The ceremony was brief, filled with heartfelt vows. When Julian slipped the ring onto my finger, a simple band of platinum, it felt heavier than any diamond, weighted with the promise of a future I had once believed was lost forever. We sealed our vows with a kiss that spoke of new beginnings, of healing, of a love forged in the crucible of betrayal and triumph. The phoenix had not only risen from the ashes, she had found her true home. And as I looked at Julian, my husband, I knew that my second chance was not just about revenge, but about building a life more beautiful, more meaningful, than I could have ever imagined in my past life. My empire was not just Phoenix Innovations. It was the life I had rebuilt, brick by painful, glorious brick, with the man who had seen my strength and loved me for it. The months following the wedding were a period of intense growth, both personally and professionally. Julian and I, now a formidable team, began to truly merge the operations of Phoenix Innovations and Zenith Corporation. It wasn't a hostile takeover or a simple acquisition, it was a strategic integration, leveraging the unique strengths of both companies. His expertise in advanced technology and my vision for market disruption created a synergy that propelled us to the forefront of the industry. In my past life, I was too possessive of my own creations, too wary of external influence, I reflected during one of our joint board meetings. I believed that true power lay in singular control. But now, I understood that collaborative strength, built on mutual respect and shared goals, was infinitely more potent. We launched several groundbreaking initiatives, combining Phoenix's innovative product development with Zenith's robust infrastructure and global reach. The market responded with enthusiasm, and our combined entity, now informally known as Vancethorn Enterprises in the media, became a dominant force. My relationship with Julian deepened with each passing day. He was not just my husband and business partner, he was my confidant, my anchor, the calm in the storm. We found joy in the small things: quiet dinners at home, shared walks in the park, late-night conversations about everything and nothing. He taught me to relax, to trust, to truly live beyond the relentless pursuit of success. In my past life, I was too driven, too focused on the next achievement, to truly appreciate the present moment, I realized one lazy Sunday morning, waking up beside Julian. I was always chasing a future that never truly arrived. But now, I savored every breath, every touch, every shared laugh. Lena remained my steadfast ally and friend. She thrived in her role as my chief of staff, her loyalty unwavering, her insights invaluable. We often reminisced about the dark days, marveling at how far we had come. She was the sister I had always deserved, a bond forged in fire and loyalty, not blood and betrayal. My former friends and extended family continued their attempts to re-enter my life. Some sent gifts, others heartfelt, and often performative, letters, and a few even tried to show up at company events. Each time, I maintained my distance. In my past life, I would have desperately sought their validation, their approval, to prove that I was still worthy, I confided in Julian one evening. I would have believed that their forgiveness was necessary for my own healing. But now, I knew that their absence was a form of peace. Their apologies were too late, too self-serving. Julian simply held my hand, his presence a silent affirmation of my choices. He never pushed me to forgive, never judged my decisions regarding my past. He understood that some scars ran too deep to be simply covered over. Liam and Serafina, meanwhile, were serving their sentences. News trickled in occasionally. Liam was struggling with prison life, his arrogance replaced by a bitter resentment. Serafina, ever the manipulator, was reportedly trying to charm her way into a more comfortable existence, but her past actions had left a permanent stain on her reputation. Their names, once whispered with admiration, were now synonymous with greed and deceit. I felt no joy in their suffering, no triumphant glee. Just a quiet, resolute satisfaction that justice had been served. The burning desire for revenge had cooled, replaced by a profound sense of peace. My focus was no longer on their downfall, but on my own ascent, on building a future filled with integrity and purpose. Our first anniversary arrived, a quiet celebration at a small, intimate restaurant. Julian raised his glass, his eyes twinkling. To us, Elara. To new beginnings, and to a future brighter than any past. I clinked my glass against his, a soft chime echoing in the quiet room. To us, Julian. And to the unexpected paths that lead us to where we're truly meant to be. I looked around the elegant restaurant, then back at Julian, his face etched with love and contentment. My life had been shattered, rebuilt, and now, it was flourishing in ways I could never have imagined. The girl who had died in a prison cell, betrayed and broken, was truly gone. In her place stood a woman who was stronger, wiser, and infinitely happier. My second chance had not just been about revenge, it had been about rediscovering myself, about finding true love, and about building an empire that was not just about wealth, but about integrity, loyalty, and a future built on solid ground.